failures of the Obama-Clinton foreign policy, people on the Democratic side are underwhelmed by the candidates they have to choose from. And on the Republican side, we've seen a very big field narrowed down quite a bit. And today, Republican primary voters have a choice. They have a choice whether they want a Washington deal maker, someone that will go to Washington and keep cutting deals with Democrats, keep cutting deals with Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, or whether they want a proven conservative. And in this race, the debate last week showed sharp differences between the candidates. In Texas, I believe that Texans want a proven conservative, someone who spent his entire life fighting to defend the Constitution, fighting to defend the Bill of Rights. If I'm elected president, we will repeal every word of Obamacare. We will adopt a simple flat tax and abolish the IRS. We'll stop amnesty and secure the border. And all of that together is going to result in millions of high-paying jobs, is going to result in wages going up, is going to result in young people coming out of school with 2, 3, 4, 5 job offers. We can turn the economy around. We can bring back prosperity by stopping the mistakes of the Obama-Clinton economy.
Senator, do you feel, I tried to ask you yesterday, you sort of avoided it, but do you feel you have to leave Texas today to keep your campaign viable? I know it's maybe not an easy question to answer.
Listen, I believe we're going to do very, very well here in Texas. It's going to be up to Texans to make their decision, but there is no doubt that any candidate who cannot win his home state has real problems. I believe we will do well here in Texas, in significant part because it was 5 years ago that I campaigned across this state making promises to the men and women of Texas. I told Texans, if you elect me, that I will go to Washington and fight with every breath in my body to stop the disaster that is Obamacare, to stop amnesty and to secure the borders, to stop the debt and spending that is bankrupting our kids and grandkids, and to defend the Second Amendment and religious liberty and the Bill of Rights. And every day I've been in the Senate, I have worked diligently to do exactly that. I think that's why so many Texans are supporting this campaign, and it's also why we are the only campaign that has beaten and that can beat Donald Trump. Let me take a minute to speak to the 65% of Republicans nationwide who recognize that Donald Trump is not the best candidate to go head-to-head with Hillary Clinton. We just had a new poll come out today from CNN that shows Donald Trump losing badly to Hillary Clinton. If Donald is the nominee, Hillary Clinton in all likelihood becomes president. We lose the Supreme Court for a generation. The Bill of Rights is lost for a generation. We're buried in debt, and the future of our kids and grandkids is in real jeopardy. On the other hand, the polling consistently shows that I beat Hillary Clinton head-to-head. And today, if you don't want Donald Trump to be your nominee, if you're among those 65% of Republicans who recognize that Donald Trump could be a disaster as the nominee, then I ask you to join us, even if you're thinking of another candidate, even if you're looking at another candidate. Listen, there are good and honorable and decent people in this race, people I like and respect. But the only campaign that is in a position to beat Donald Trump on Super Tuesday is our campaign. And if you don't want to see Donald Trump as the nominee, if you don't want us to give this election to Hillary Clinton, then I ask you to stand with us today. Super Tuesday is the single best opportunity to beat Donald Trump.
It's all about delegates by tomorrow morning. After today, where do you specifically believe you can pick up delegates? Where are you hopeful you can continue to build that?
Well, it's a great question, and Patrick, you're right. It is all about delegates. Tomorrow morning, what is likely to happen is Donald Trump is likely to have a whole bunch of delegates. We're likely to have a whole bunch of delegates, and I think there will be a big, big drop-off for the rest of the field. To get to the nomination, you need 1,237 delegates. And so I will say, for any candidate that wakes up tomorrow morning who has not won any states, for any candidate who wakes up tomorrow morning who has a negligible number of delegates, I think it's time to start thinking about coming together and unifying and presenting a clear choice. I believe it would be an enormous mistake to nominate Donald Trump, and so I speak to unity for Republicans, that let's come together and stand together behind the conservative principles, the free market principles and constitutional liberties that we believe in. And I think tomorrow morning you're going to see a clear choice with two candidates, both with a big chunk of delegates, and the remainder of the candidates with very, very few.
Marco Rubio says he's not going to be dropping out. He's going to contest in convention. So how do you move forward if Rubio doesn't drop out? How is that then a two-man race? It'll be three, right?
Tomorrow morning, people's assessments are going to be different. Everyone on Election Day says they will be there forever. But elections narrow the field. And we will see today, I believe, the field continuing to narrow. If you want to beat Donald Trump, we've got to get to a head-to-head, a one-on-one race. One-on-one, not only do I beat Donald Trump, I beat him resoundingly by 16 points, 56 to 40. What Donald is benefiting from is a fractured opposition. And, I would note, if you're tired of the insults, if you're tired of the circus show, if you're tired of the profanity and vulgarity, if you want a president who you know what he will do, then you have a clear choice in this race. At the debate last week, Donald Trump made very, very clear that he intends to go to Washington and cut deals with Harry Reid and the Democrats. There's a reason Harry Reid says Donald Trump is his favorite Republican presidential candidate, because Donald Trump has supported Harry Reid for years, and Harry Reid says, I can cut deals with Trump. If you want a Republican president to give in even more to the Democrats, to have more debt, then Donald Trump is your man. And I would note as well that if you're tired of politicians saying one thing and doing another, then Donald Trump has told us he does not intend to do anything he's saying. He has said the day after the election he will be a totally different person. He can be the most politically correct person in the world. Let me be clear. If I'm president, I'll be the exact same person the day after the election that I am today. We've been burned by politicians who lie to us. And indeed, just yesterday, BuzzFeed broke the story about a secret tape at the New York Times where Donald Trump went to the New York Times editorial board and told them earlier this year that he didn't believe anything he was saying about immigration, that he doesn't intend to build a wall, that this is all just campaign rhetoric to try to fool gullible voters. Well, the New York Times is saying it will not release that tape without Donald Trump's permission. I have called upon Donald Trump, release the tape. If you are going to Manhattan and telling the New York Times you're lying to the voters have a right to know that, and they have a right to know that before Super Tuesday. We have been burned over and over and over again, and the stakes are too high in this election to risk getting it wrong one more time.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, everyone.